Obviously disappointing with the outcome. It was a top 10 fight, come down to a 3-point game versus a hell of a football team. Our guys got a lot to really a confidence to build off of. There's obviously a lot out there that we didn't do well, but there are some things we did do well. And we got to build on the things that we did well, and we got to fix with urgency the things we didn't do so well. It's the first game of the year versus a heck of an opponent. We obviously got a new quarterback starting, and we got to do things to try to help him kind of figure his way out. And defensively, we gotta be better in crucial parts of the game. I think in crucial parts of the game, they actually did play well. It's the parts that maybe, the normal situations. We weren't as really as high performing as I would like in that situation. So, we'll take it. We'll get back to work. Look at ways to fix it and utilize this bye week and get ready for our next opponent, A&M.
Front row, Tyler Marco.
Coach, with the offensive game plan, I know you got to watch the film and whatnot, but it seemed like a lot of short passes out to the flats and whatnot. Was that the game plan going in, and what were you guys thinking?
Yeah, I've said this before. It was creating some easy throws, some easy decisions. Obviously some RPOs, and hey, you can hand the ball off, or depending on what the defense does, pull it and throw it. We started to say later in the game that stop reading it, hand the ball to J. Love, and we need to establish this run game. He was doing what he was coached to do on a lot of those pulls and throwing. We gotta block better on the perimeter. The one interception we can't have, but there's times that we got to take away the read and say just hand the ball to your running backs and do that.
Overall, what did CJ show you tonight?
He's going to be a really good quarterback. Everything that I thought he was going to be. His ceiling is so high. He's going to have to learn to take this loss and, not let it beat him up too much because he's an ultra competitor. But he's a gamer, man. He performs when the lights are on. He prepares his tail off. He had answers for questions that myself or Coach Denbrock would have, and he's going to do great things, man. It's just a start for him.
Third row, Jackson Neal.
How do you think CJ responded after that interception?
Great. Great. Came back and drove us down for a field goal, and then the next drive after that was a 75-yard touchdown drive. So I think it's pretty impressive after you throw an interception off the tip ball.
You seem to have a little trouble getting pressure up front on defense. What were they doing up front that was making it so tough?
They were protecting. We gotta be better with our 4-man rushes. If we need to blitz 5, we will, but you're not going to be really successful on defense if you can't get pressure on the quarterback with 4-man rushes. And I felt like they did a good job protecting the quarterback. I think there was times where Beck had enough time to really figure out what coverage we were playing and put the ball where it needed to be put. We got a little bit better pressure maybe in the end of the third, fourth quarter, but the expectation is throughout those 4 quarters you've got to be able to get 4-man pressure, rolling guys in there and create some pressure on the quarterback.
Same row, Tim O'Malley.
Coach Anthony Knapp was what moved him from the game late.
Yeah, it was cramp. He was cramping. I'm pretty sure it was cramping.
With right guard, was it a planned rotation when Lambert came out to extra team?
Yeah, we think it was at that moment good for Sully to go in the game. We kind of had that planned, and then after Sully got a couple series, we decided to put Gerby back in the game. Gerby's, listen, both of them played well. We said it was competition. We said we could see both. You don't often see, O-linemen rotate, but we thought it was a situation that in that certain situation of the game that we planned on getting Sully in, and then we got Gerby back in there in those last 2 series.
John Bryce.
Marcus, you brought yourself into this being an O-line and D-line driven program. Did you feel like your guys met the challenge up front, particularly in the first half?
The effort was there. I guess you got to give credit to their team. I told the guys in the locker room, my challenge, we got to play harder, longer. You know what? We played hard, but they played hard too. And, both of us played harder. We had some self-inflicted wounds that we can't have. But I think our guys played well. Our O-line played. They stepped up to the challenge. We didn't always run the ball. listen, that 2-minute situation where everybody knows they got to throw the ball. I mean, you got Styles in there because Knapp went down. It's a tough situation. And so I'm not going to evaluate them just off of the 2-minute situation. We got to find a way to win the game in that situation. But I thought for the most part of the game, our O-line did a good job. D-line, I want to be more dominant. My expectations for that unit is to dominate the game in the run and the pass, put pressure on the quarterback and stop the run. And credit to Miami, we weren't able to do that. But that's my expectation for those guys.
And then following up, you're down 21-7 in the fourth, and 24-14, you find a way to tie the game. What did you maybe learn or have reinforced that you knew about the mettle and the character of your team?
These dudes they'll never quit, right? They believe, they trust, they know they're never out of the fight. And I could look in their eye and they said, hey, Coach, we need one more stop, we need one more score, and let's watch what happens. We thought it was going to finish differently than it did. They did a good job on that last drive of getting in the field goal range and, hit a 50-yarder, I think it was. It was a, good job by them. And it's tough when you don't have any timeouts. I had to use them right before that field goal. It's tough when you don't have any timeouts and you get intentional grounding and a sack. It's tough to drive the ball down the field. But you know what? We'll be in that situation again. We'll learn from it. And I'll trust our guys will execute.
Second row, Jack Sobel.
Coach Freeman, two things you guys did especially well last season were the turnover battle and the middle eight. Miami wins both tonight. What did you feel like you needed to do to be better in the Raiders?
The turnover, you look at the two turnovers, Malachi's got to have better ball security, and we can't let that tip ball. It's almost like you didn't want JG to tip it again when he's trying to be a football player because it got popped in there, and they obviously they got the interception. We got to create more takeaways on defense, right? We pride ourselves in being able to create takeaways. We didn't create any takeaways. We got to be intentional about it. And so the middleweight, I don't know exactly what it was, but obviously you're telling me we didn't win it. But more importantly, we got to take care of football. That's a week one emphasis. It's a total season emphasis, but the majority of teams that win the turnover margin week one are going to win that game. And they knew that. I knew that. We just didn't win it today. And we got to fix it.
Front row, Mike Verdino.
What was the concern level when Christian initially came out and you went up right over to him and said something? And what did he show you by staying in the rest of the way?
Oh, I thought it was his shoulder, which he's previously hurt, but I think he got punched or hit in the throat. And so I knew he would be all right. I love Christian Gray. He gets a PI and then makes a big play, and he's a great example of win this play. And no matter what happens early in the game, the life of a corner stinks, right? Especially if you're playing man and they're throwing your guy the ball, and it's a tough job to do. But Christian's able to reload and focus on winning that play. And so, but he's a tough dude, man. I knew he was coming back.
You continue to rotate the guys, a lot of young guys getting in there in the secondary. So Tate Johnson, Talich was in there, Hobbs. But those three in particular, what did they show you? And is that the plan going into, no matter the situation, to keep rotating? Yeah,
that was the plan going in. Like I said before, it's never a big deal who's starting unless you're talking about the quarterback or maybe the offensive line. And we got a lot of capable guys that can help us win, and you got to play them, right? You got to play them in this type of environment, this type of game, in the heat. This is going to help them throughout the season, right? We got every goal we have is still ahead of us, and at the end of the day, we don't speak about championships, it's about reaching our full potential, and that's what we got to be able to do. But I'm glad those guys were able to get in and perform in a big environment like this.
Second row, Pete Sampson.
Or you may have hinted the answer is, did you need to commit more to Love and Price on the ground than you did?
We had our plan going into the game. The problem with some of our easy throws, we weren't getting enough to get a first down, and we had a couple three and outs, and I think at halftime we got together and said, okay, we had a plan to get J Love in the pass game and some of those situations, and they did a good job. They did a good job covering them and doing those things, but we made an intentional effort at halftime to say, okay, let's either take away some of those reads or find intentional ways to get the ball in his hands, and he made some good things happen.
I asked you earlier in the week about leadership and the adversity and it's different here than it is at, South Bend on a Tuesday. Like, what voices did you hear tonight when things were kind of going the wrong way, and that gives you confidence that you've got that part figured out?
Yeah, you heard our captains, and that's their job. That comes with the title, right? And if your team votes you captain, there's a responsibility to uphold that title, right? So many people want titles, but they don't want the responsibility that title entails. And so those captains have the responsibility to speak up, especially in tough times. Those captains have the responsibility to make sure we're holding guys accountable. Those captains have the responsibility to fix problems, whether it's their problem or not. And so I'm proud of the way they stepped up and really lived out the title that they've been given.
Last question opportunity for Coach Matt Fortuna.
Marcus, that first CJ touchdown pass where he scrambles forever, is that a sense of like the playmaking ability you guys see behind the scenes at that position for him? And I'm just curious, your inner dialogue
Said
through
throw it
that
away,
play.
throw it away, throw it away. I was like, throw it away. And I said, throw it away, and then, oh, great job. It's just, now he's out there. I couldn't see exactly what was going on. I'm watching him, and I watched him spin out, and usually when you're feeling pressure, it's like, throw the ball away. Don't throw the ball across your body. But he kept his eyes downfield and made a play. Like, yeah, those are plays. Like, we don't draw them up like that, but those are plays that C.J. Carr can make. And he made a good amount of them tonight. Made some mistakes like any first-time quarterback will make, but his ceiling is extremely high and his future is bright.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. No problem.
The takeaway tonight, what do you think the defense needs to do better to create turnovers?
I think that we just need to go out there and make takeaways. That's what we lack today. We need to go out there and get that ball, get it back to our offense, and just stop them on third down. That's our main things.
Front row right here, John Brace.
Jalen, what was it that they were doing? I know you're in the back end, but what was it they were doing to protect back and keep you guys from getting very much pressure on the quarterback all night?
They were keeping the running back in there in the core, and they were just trying to just chip our ends when they could and just get what they could in the blocking scheme so that they had time to get the ball down the field.
Stay in this front row, Tyler Worka.
Hey, Jalen, how tough did you find it to match Miami's physicality? It seems like they came out with a purpose and they tried to take it to you guys on their home field.
It's always, we're always going to fight. That's all we do is we push and we go with confidence. We're always going to fight back. It's never one punch. It's always going to be multiple punches. We're going to keep going. As a defense, as a team, we're always going to fight. So.
Second row, Matt Fortuna.
Jalen, after they scored back-to-back touchdowns, go 14, you held them, I think, to 15 total yards on the next 13 plays over 4 drives. What was working for you guys? What did you guys identify to get yourself together, so to speak?
We just had to get off the field. We knew that third down was key, and we had to get the ball back to the offense. And when they go down and score twice, it hurts. So you got to get back up, and you got to keep punching and keep fighting. So I knew that we had to get stops, and defense knew that we had to get the ball back to the offense so they had the opportunity to go score.
Going back to the front row, Tyler Worka again.
Jalen, what did you see from CJ in camp that let you know that he was going to be able to do something like he did tonight in orchestrating that comeback?
He's a game ball player. Like, he's going to go make plays. He's going to do what he has to do to go make plays. He's a competitor. He's going to compete in any aspect and any time of the game. He wants to go win the game. So.
Jalen, thank you. Next, we have C.J. Carr. We're going to start in the front row, Tyler Worka.
Hey, CJ. How tough did you find it to kind of settle into a rhythm in the beginning? I know that was kind of the goal to get you going, and then what was it there in that second half that allowed you to lead that comeback?
Yeah, I think it was just getting comfortable with being out there with those guys for the first time. Thought we did a good job in the second half of putting drives together. Next A&M week we need to start faster and be able to put those drives together earlier.
Second row, Matt Fortuna.
DJ, can you take me through the first touchdown pass you ran, I think 23 yards backwards, and then hit Micah Gilbert? What's going through your mind there and how you survey the field? Is that like Stafford no-look thing, something you do regularly in practice, or is that just kind of?
When it's needed, I guess. We had 3-by-1 set with 2 ends to the field. They were playing some sort of middle field open coverage. It was just really low to squeeze a slant in there. Felt backside pressure, so just tried to make a guy miss. Did it, and Micah Gilbert made a great catch, great effort to get open in the end zone. So ended in 7.
Front row, John Brace.
We've seen you run in some at practice, CJ, but tonight, was it just something they were giving you, or were you just maybe feeling like you could take advantage of some things, or kind of what led to you running it that much?
Yeah, I think it was something we did. We had a lot of success with last year, and whenever my number's called to run, that's what we got to do to win the game. And I think it helped us tonight.
And then you waited so long for this moment to get to play. Now you've got to wait 13 days again before your next game. And how quickly do you attack this? What's the next step for you?
We attack it tonight. We attack it tomorrow. I think tonight wasn't good enough, out of me specifically, and we got to be able to get better and go. My dad always says the only way to get rid of a loss is with a win.
Third row, Jackson Neal.
Overall, just what are your initial takeaways from your first start?
Yeah, I think it's a blessing to be where we are. I was pre-game just taking it in. It was a great atmosphere, great opportunity. Now we just got to be able to get over the hump of winning.
Second row, Jack Sobel.
CJ, Coach Freeman said on a lot of the RPOs that you guys were running early, you were making the right reads on them, but at a certain point the coaches kind of said, all right, just hand it to J Love. Like, what was your thought process on that throughout the game?
Yeah, I think I need to continue to get a better feel for what our offense needs in the moment, and a lot of the time it's going to be Jeremiah Love, and on the pick, should have just given him the ball specifically, and cost us, a big play, and just got to keep growing.